title.
Guys, welcome to my channel. So today I will be doing a video about room 234's version part 2, and the name is 234's Lifelines. Okay, so basically if you've watched the first video, if you haven't, I will leave the link in the description box so that you can watch that. But then for those who've already watched it, here's part 2. So basically, second story, remember I told you that it ended with Hera making a call to Lexus, and then he ended up getting in a car accident and he died, right? So when the book starts, it starts saying that it's 5 years later, right? 5 years after this whole accident and everything that's happened. So now Hera finds out, as we are reading, we find out that Hera was pregnant. Yes, pregante, with twins. Now, she moved from wherever they were. I don't know what state it was, but from wherever they were, she moved to Nigeria. And she had been living there for the past 5 years. So after the accident, she just moved straight to Nigeria, and that's where she lived. So then she had twins, a girl and a boy. But unfortunately, when she gave birth, the son passed away, so only the daughter was alive. Now, the child's name, I don't know why it keeps glitching. Why are you glitching, sweetie? That's a problem. Sorry about that. The child's name, Hera ends up naming her child Shakespeare, because that's what Lexus used to call her. If you read the first book, then that's a little nickname that he had for her because she really liked Shakespeare. So she ends up calling her daughter Alexandria Shakespeare, right? So then everybody just calls her daughter Shakespeare. So then one day she decides that, you know what, maybe I should go back, maybe I can find out where Lexus's grave is, and maybe try to apologize to everyone else, because she's feeling guilty and she is in deep depression. So now she goes away from Nigeria and she goes back to America, and that's when she gets there, at the airport. She was at the airport, and she wandered off, right? And no, I'm lying. A lady dropped her purse, and Shakespeare saw it, and she was going to go give the lady back her purse. And then the lady started calling Shakespeare a thief. So then this other dude just comes up and he starts defending Shakespeare, saying that he's Shakespeare's dad. Right? Shakespeare was like, "No, this is my dad. My dad won't let you do this to me." And he was like, "Yeah, this is my daughter. You can't do this." So she just took some regular dude who was willing to help at the airport, and she was like, "Yeah, he's my dad, so don't do that." So then when Hera comes back, to get Shakespeare, because she's hearing that there's some sort of commotion going on, she goes back for her child, and she sees this man is claiming to be the child's father, and is like, "No, thank you for helping my child, but don't be saying stuff like that." Now Hera never told Shakespeare the actual truth. She always just told her that your father's gone, your father's on a business trip, your father, all these stories. So then they end up going back, and then Hera goes back to Lexus's mom's house. She's the only person who knew about that place. Lexus's mom left, she had her own house and she left it behind for him. Peter didn't even know about the existence of this house. So when Hera and Lexus got close, then he showed her the house, and then that's the house she went to. And she started living there, and then one day, this is the fun part. One day, Lexus comes back. Lexus wasn't dead, y'all. funny laughs and giggles. He wasn't dead. But he did lose his memory. So, he lost his memory, and basically, he got inside the house, and she was taking a bath. When she went to go check the door, she saw Lexus, and she was like, "You're supposed to be dead." She's saying it in her head. She's like, "You're supposed to be dead. What the hell are you doing here?" She slips, her towel falls, and boom, baya, K-drama moment all over again. The same way they met in the first book is the same way they're meeting in the second one. And then he starts asking her questions like, who are you? What are you doing in my house? What's going on here? And she lies, she makes up some story, whatever. And then Hera and, no, not Hera, Lexus and Shakespeare start getting closer because she sees him as this father figure since she's been waiting for her so-called father to come back. And Hera, in her brain, is trying to do the maths equation that is not maths equationing right now. She's thinking, okay, you're supposed to be dead, but you're not dead, so what's going on here? You don't remember me, which means you probably lost your memories. And then she found out that when he lost his memories, Peter started giving him this whole different personality that he isn't. He wasn't called Lexus anymore. Sorry. He wasn't called Lexus anymore. He was called Alexander, which was his full name. But he never really liked his full name, so he always went by Lexus. But now he goes by Alexander, not Lexus. And he had a good relationship with his father. He called his stepmother mom because that's what Peter made him believe. His memories were gone. And he started having a good relationship with his stepmother, with Nathan. Everything was going great. And then Hera was like, if I tell him the truth, I'm going to be ruining this perfect life that he has right now. And then we find out that he's engaged to Karen. Disgusting.
Disgusting shit.
Anywho, so we find out that he's like engaged to Karen or whatever. And then he ends up hiring Hera because she needs a job. And one day they go into his office, and in his office he has like by a coffee maker, there's a coffee maker, and then if he sips from the cup, obviously like your spit and your DNA is left on the cup, and you put the cup back into the coffee maker thing where the cup would sit, it would suck the cup in, and then there's a mirror there, and it would scan the person's DNA, and then there'd be a secret door that would open, and it leads to a completely different room. It's just a room, it's just a bed and a bathroom. It's really not that special. So one day when they're in his office, what's her name? Shakespeare. Yes. Shakespeare asks for some water. So she takes some water, she drinks while Hera and Lexus are busy. She's drinking the water, and then she can't see where else she's supposed to put the cup, so she puts it in the coffee maker thing. It sucks the cup, and then it scans her DNA. She was standing in front of the mirror, and it scanned her DNA, and the door opened. And this thing is only supposed to scan Lexus's DNA or a descendant of his. Due to Alexander's thinking, he's like, I don't have a child. Okay, he doesn't know about having a child. No one knows that Hera was pregnant. Okay. So now when this secret door opens, then him and his assistant are like, no, but it's supposed to scan your DNA. What's going on here? 2 plus 2 is 4, not 5. What's going on? And then at some point, Hera goes with Lexus to some charity what ball, whatnot. It was some minister's birthday, I think. I don't remember. And he wanted Hera to go with him, but she didn't have anything to wear, and it was last minute. And then Lexus was like, I've always had this dress. It's sort of like a wedding dress. It's designed as a wedding dress. You can wear this. I'm pretty sure it's your size. She puts it on. It was the dress that the designer had made for Hera, custom made on her body, that I told you, like it molds with her scars and stuff. So yeah, we'll get to the scars. It molds with the scars and stuff, and it makes like the scars look like they're actually a part of the dress. So when she put the dress on, like Karen had put the dress on before, Karen lied and she was like, no, you and I were meant to be married before, all of that. But then when Karen put it on, it looked okay, but it didn't look proper. So then when Lexus saw Hera put it on, he was like, it looks like it's made for you. I didn't know you had scars. I know for a fact that those parts of the dress weren't there, which means that you have scars. And it just molds with your scars so beautifully. It's like it was made for you. And Hera's just like, yeah, coincidence. So then after that, then Hera like just keeps trying to hide from Lexus that they were together before and that Shakespeare is his daughter, because him and Shakespeare keep getting closer and closer as the book goes. And then one day he goes back to his mother's house, and Lexus was like a gorgeous painter, and there's this one painting he did of his mother when he was like, dealing with depression. So then one day he sees that there's an uncovered he goes back to his mother's house. In his mother's house there was an art studio. She was also a painter. So he sees that there's a specific portrait, but it's covered. So he removes the sheet, and it's the painting that he did of Hera. He was gonna give it to her. There's a painting that he did of Hera, and as soon as he stole the painting, everything just started coming back to him. The car accident, the fact that him and Hera were together, everything just hit him all at once. And he was like, y'all been lying to me. Y'all been playing me. Okay, cool. And then his assistant walks in. She walks in and she's like, Alexander, where are you? And he's like, listen, I don't know who you've been working with this whole time, but I'm not Alexander. Hi, my name is Lexus. Nice to meet you. She's confused, like, what are you talking about? And he finally explains to her, okay, so listen, I got into a car accident 5 years ago. My dad's been lying to me. He's actually a horrible human being. He lied to me, and he starts giving her like sort of like a backstory of what had happened before. And he's like, but you know what, Ned? Let's not tell them that I got my memory back. Let's play them the same way they played me, okay? Let's just play with them and see how it goes. I have a little bit of a plan. Remember I told you he's a mastermind? Yeah, fine. He's crazy. So he's like, you know what? Let's play around with them. And the one that I want to play with the most is Hera. She lied to me. Peter, Nathan, Leah is the stepmother, and Leah and all these other people. I didn't expect honesty from them. They've been lying to me my whole life. They've been drugging me and making me look like I'm a crazy person when I'm not. Hera was the one person that I actually thought she would come through if I was ever in this type of situation, and she didn't. So you know what? I want to play her the most. And for the fact that she hid that I had a child, we're gonna play with him. So now he starts putting his scheme together. Peter was running for president. His scheme is to throw off Peter, and he succeeds, and to put Peter in jail, as he did. He wanted to expose Leah's corruption because she was put into position. I think she's a governor or a minister or something. She was put into position by Peter. So nepotism. And then, yeah, so he exposed that corruption. She went to jail. He went back to not liking Nathan, because we find out that Nathan was the cause that he was the reason for Lexus going to these mental institutions all his life. He goes to Reed. Reed is one of his other friends. He finds out that he's been spying on him his whole life. So he's like, I'm going to get back at you at that. And he did. And then Hera ended up meeting Jessica early on when she had just come back from America. And she met Jessica. And then Jessica was mad that she didn't tell her anything and all of that. Nobody knew where she was. She was just mad. But then she ends up helping Hera. And then now Lexus has destroyed everyone around him. The only person left is Hera. So him and Zane. Zane was one of the other dudes that he was friends with. And Zane is a lawyer. So is Jessica. So now he's like to Zane. Him and Zane do a bit of digging to find out where Hera has been and what's been going on. And then that's when he finds out that Hera was pregnant with twins. And one of the twins, unfortunately, did not make it. So then he's like, I want full custody of my child. And he's like, Zane, we're taking her to court. I want full custody of my child. And then Zane was like, okay, sure. So then Jessica found out when Hera, tried to explain to Lexus, you were having such a good life, and I don't want to come in between that, You were finally getting along with your father, with your stepmother, with your brother. You were having a good relationship with people. You were having a nice life, and I didn't want to disrupt that, because I've brought nothing but trouble into your life. So I was like, no. And he's like, I don't care. You hid the fact that I have a child. You were gonna... Oh, and she was planning to run away. So, yeah. It was like, you were gonna run away with my daughter without even telling me that I had a child. So, no. I want full custody of my child. And Hera... Remember, she has no money, so she's like, well, what am I gonna do? And then Jessica, because her and Jessica had mended ways, they were like, Jessica was like, I'll represent you pro bono, it's not a problem. They go to court, and when they get to court, it's a whole other thing, because Lexus starts saying, Guti, Hera is unstable. He starts oh, and the one thing, oh, I remember when I was reading that chapter, I was crying. Lexus brought up the fact that she had twins and she lost one of the twins because she wasn't taking care of herself when she was pregnant because she was depressed. And then in court, he implied to Hera that she's the reason why their son died. She is the reason. So you're not stable enough to take care of my daughter when you killed my son. He literally implied that in court. And Hera lost it. Like, you know that the client is not supposed to talk, right? It's always supposed to be the lawyer that's talking. But Hera lost it. She started crying. And she was like, how could you do this to me? Do you think that I wanted to be in that state of mind? Do you think that I like the fact that I caused the love of my life to be in an accident leading to what I thought was his death, but he lost his memories? I come back 5 years later and he doesn't even remember who I am. On top of that, I've been depressed for those 5 years and I lost my son. You want to imply that I wanted to kill my own son? Lexus, please don't even. I'm capable of a lot of things but not killing my own child. You think I would actually care? You think I wanted to be in that state of mind to the point where I killed one of my kids? Do you think I did that shit on purpose? No, of course not. And then after that, she breaks in court and she just says all of these things. And then that's when, after Hera breaks like that, so Hera, all this time, she had been blaming herself for her son's death. She had been blaming herself for Lexus's death. She had been blaming herself for a lot of things. So after she has that little crying scene in court, then the next chapter, we get a little bit of a flashback preview. And it's Lexus talking to his secretary. And he's explaining like his plan to her. And she's like, why would you do that? That's so harsh. And he's like, listen, I know Hera better than she knows herself. Okay? Even though they only knew each other for a month. But I know Hera better than she knows herself. Okay? The only way I can get her to remove herself from this self-blame and self-punishment and guilt, the only way I can get Hera to get out of that mental state is for me, the person that she loves, the father of her kids, for me to imply and the only way to force her out of it is for me to imply that she killed our child. That's the only way. Hera wants harsh, she wants tough love. That's the only way I can get her to stop blaming herself, is that I have to blame her for our child's death. I must be the one to do it because I'm the father of the child and I'm the one that she's in love with. And then we find out that Lexus is still very much in love with Hera. He was just being harsh because that's the only way that Hera would have been able to stop blaming herself. And after that, she did. And then he dropped the charges. They both got custody of Shakespeare. Happily ever after. The end. That's basically the book. There's a lot more to do, especially with Hera's dad. He used to abuse her. So now Hera had a father, Jake, a biological father, and he used to abuse her and her mom until he went to prison. And then Hera's mom ended up meeting a new man, which was Hera's principal at that time, and they got together and they got married. So when you read the book, it goes in depth about everything else, how she got the scars, him coming out of jail, her being terrified. Like, there's a lot more that I have left out. I'm just giving you the general rundown of the story. But if you really like the story, I would recommend that you read it. It's very, very nice. It's a good thing to pass time by. And you could get, well, me, I get emotionally invested in all the books I read. So, yeah. But it's a good book. I would recommend that you read it. It's a very nice book. So yeah, bye. I'm a girl about a 10. I should fuck her in the